Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the Cryptolabs YouTube channel. My name is Colin, and today I wanted to just summarize some of the mistakes that I've made along the way. Now, I've been in this space for the last 4.5 years, so I've seen everything, and I've coached, I think, thousands of people in this space already, and we're not done. I'm really looking to continue to get the message out there and to show people what's possible and the opportunities that we have in front of us. But it can be risky, and so I really want to make sure that we are understanding the risks. And actually, a very quick story. When I was we had a live event in Kelowna, British Columbia, in Canada, in June. So yeah, just over a month ago, and it was amazing to see everybody in the UIG and the fast track there, and shaking hands and just having good conversations with people that we've talked with on Zooms and in chat rooms, et cetera, et cetera. So, however, there was one part in that. In that day that I really wanted to highlight, and it was Nick. I want to give him credit. So Nick asked the question, I think it was to Lucas, who was in the front of the room, and I was way in the back, and I was just kind of soaking it all in and just kind of overseeing everything, and Nick asked Lucas, he said, when do I know I should be going all in? Right? When should I be going all in? And I raised my hand. I'm like, I have an answer for that. And so what I told Nick was, you can go all in when you can very clearly define and describe what all of the risks are. If you cannot clearly define and describe all of the risks involved with the activities and what we're doing in terms of wallet security, in terms of scammers, in terms of portfolio allocation, in terms of smart contract risk, all of the different risks that are out there, if you cannot clearly define them and really describe to somebody what those are and how you can overcome them, I would not go all in yet. When you can and you understand them and then take precautions to do that, that's where I can say, okay, now it's time to start going all in. And you can define that however you want. For him, I think it was deploying more capital into his portfolio, right? And so what I wanted to walk you through in this video is 5 mistakes that I'll never make again. And the first one is very simple, and it kind of is in alignment with the Myro Board. And if I'm using Myro right now, but it's the crypto business plan that we have put together through all of the quests here. I can actually show you really quick. Through all of the quests here at the end, you'll see your business plan. And basically this is a Myro Board. It is a game plan for you to execute from. And as you work through the quests, as you learn more concepts and as you start to build out your wallet system, and as you start to on-ramp and you start to put together your security practices and your portfolio allocation and your risk management and your strategies and your goals, all of that is put here inside of a kind of a guided template that we have for you. And so for me, one of my biggest mistakes that I have made was kind of, and I say this from time to time, is I kind of just took my chips. Right? I took my poker chips, I walked to a random table and just started playing, as opposed to really understanding what goals do I actually have? What is the mission that I'm trying to achieve? Am I after price appreciation and kind of growth over the next couple decades? Am I in it for cash flow? Do I want to produce cash flow to help fund lifestyle for maybe something I want, or maybe to replace some bills that I have? Like, what am I actually trying to achieve? Because with knowing that, you can put the strategies and you can put actions into place that will actually help you get there. And so actually, if I can highlight one more training for you, if you're in the UIG, the why, what, how, now, well, next blueprint for success. I know that is an awful name, but for me, I think it stands out as something that's kind of ridiculous and it gets people's attention. So I'm going to keep it. But anyways, this training right here was actually a keynote presentation that I gave during that live event that I think will be extremely valuable for you to go through. And the first one that I have here is define what your mission is. And I know it's a little cliche and it's probably overused. However, it's extremely important, because if you cannot clearly define to me or describe to me what your mission is, like what are your goals, what are you actually trying to achieve, it's going to be really hard for me to help you put together a strategy that's going to get you there. I'm going to butcher it, but the Cheshire Cat has a quote in the Alice in Wonderland that she basically said, where should I go? And he said, well, where are you trying, or she said, like, which direction should I go in? And he said, well, where are you trying to go? And she said, I don't know. And he goes, well, then it doesn't matter which direction you go in. And that has always stuck with me. And so as I start coaching, when people start asking me strategy questions, I say, pause, what's the goal? What's your mission? What are you trying to achieve? Because now I can help you, reverse engineer it and help you get there. Okay. So that's number one. It's just not being clear on that right off the bat. Number 2 was rebalancing too much. Oh my goodness, I used to do this like a crazy person. And the reason being, at the core of it, is that I was chasing yield. And what that means is when you're providing concentrated liquidity, the wider you go, the more of a likelihood you're going to be in range, which is great, but you're earning less fees. And so what I was doing way back in the day is I would put really tight ranges, because I was elevating my APR. So you could see, okay, if I do this wider range, I can earn, 70% APR, but if I tighten it, I can earn 200% APR. Great. And so back in the day is I would set tighter ranges, and I would be earning tons of fees, and I'd be generating a bunch of rewards. However, as prices moved, it would push me out of range, and then I would rebalance. Right, but every time you're rebalancing, you're locking in this impermanent loss, and it's not a good thing. And so for me, I've learned, hey, rebalancing too often destroys. It really eats away at the initial capital that you put in. And so instead of chasing yield and constantly rebalancing to hunt for the price, I personally like to set wider ranges and manage my portfolio that way. I might generate less cash flow in the short term, but in the long term, it helps preserve my initial capital a little bit better. So that's a big mistake that I made way back, was just rebalancing too much. The third one was delaying a portfolio audit. And actually, let me find it for you here. It was in the new content section, and I just did this article for the UIG, and I want to highlight it for you right here. So if you're in the UIG, right here, how to run a complete crypto and DeFi portfolio audit. I have been doing this for a long time, and by doing this audit, you can seriously prevent heartache. I know that sounds dramatic, but there are times, actually, I'll give you a very quick story. This was several months ago. It's got to be 8, 9, 10 months ago. I put off my portfolio audit. I didn't do it, right? I just didn't do it. There's no better excuse. And there's another point that I want to make later on in this, but I basically got really excited about the AI agent narrative, right? And I'm still very bullish on it in terms of the narrative itself, in terms of AI agents and the use case of how they can help us as DeFi investors. But I got really, really fell into FOMO at that point, right? I was really excited about it, and I started adjusting and moving capital into those really, really new and speculative plays. Now, I was generating a ton of fees and rewards. I was seeing good price appreciation, and so I started moving more and more capital, and my allocation started moving more towards that high-risk play. However, when the tide went out, I was skinny dipping, right? I got caught because I was in such high risk stuff that when prices started to move down, when the markets pulled back, I wrecked, and a lot of my things didn't come back. And so I've now exited all of those positions, and I've taken the losses on it. But I learned that if I had done my portfolio audit, I would have avoided that, because in that portfolio audit, I would have realized, oh, wow, I'm 55, 60% in high risk ventures. This is not how I want to operate. And so if I had done that portfolio audit, I would have caught it, and I would have adjusted course. Well, at least I would hope that I would have. But I just didn't do it. And because I didn't do it, wrecked. Right. Number 4 was not focusing on my security or wallet system. So a couple different tips. For me, I use a series of cold storage wallets. I have Tangem for my HODL, however you want to say it. These are my assets that I just want to hold, not related to DeFi at all. I just want to hold it. It's like my native Bitcoin I have in my Tangem cold storage wallet. The other one is my Treasure wallet, right? This is my daily driver for DeFi. And so I like having this wallet system for security, where this is 2 separate systems. One is for holding. The other one is to help secure my hot wallets like my Rabby, etc., through a cold storage device, where I actually have to confirm it on my physical device here. And so what that does is it slows me down from making decisions, right? If I have to pause and confirm it on my device, it makes me think through the decision a little bit more, as opposed to just rapidly clicking buttons and doing things sort of too quickly, right? So the other thing that I like to do is I like to have a test account, actually 2. Number 1 is that has no capital whatsoever, and that is my very I call it a test account, but I need a different name for it because I call them both my test accounts. But that one with no capital is used to explore brand new platforms. And so by leading the UIG, I get DMs and I get messages all the time. Hey, you should check out this platform. Hey, you got to check out this platform. And I don't ever take the wallet that I'm using as my investing wallet, my hot wallet, and connect that to that new site. I'll go to my testing wallet. I will connect it to the site and learn more about it. So that's one wallet that I've implemented that I didn't used to have, but now that I do have. It helps create a barrier between my actual investment capital in my wallet and new platforms that I want to explore. The other test wallet, again, I need to come up with a different name because they're both my test wallet, but the second test wallet has a little bit of capital, and that is to allow me to actually test, to pay for gas fees and to actually open up a position on that, in that wallet. So one is to no capital, really to explore the Wild West of things. The other one is, okay, hey, this is a new platform that I want to actually test and deploy capital into, and I want to deposit and withdraw because I want to test the smart contracts and all of that. That second test wallet allows me to do it. So along with my cold storage devices and my test wallets, those are sort of the security protocols that I put into place to help me slow me down and to secure my system. Okay. The fifth one is, giving into FOMO. Yeah, this is a big mistake. And I just talked about it and kind of gave you a little bit of a story. But it's going to happen, especially if you're on YouTube and you're on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. There's going to be a lot of hype and talk and new things and new opportunities and big plays and all of that. There's always going to be those. And so I think giving into FOMO was a mistake that I have made. And what I mean is that I wasn't intentional with my investments. Somebody was saying, Colin, you got to check this out. This is really cool. I saw it. I'm like, that is really cool. Oh my gosh, I don't want to miss out. I want to get in early. And I moved it in, and then I ended up getting wrecked. So for me, a joke that I say usually on my fast track calls is I usually let other people cross the rickety bridge first. I'll let them cross the bridge. They'll determine where the holes are so that if then I want to, I notice, okay, the bridge is safe, then I can know where not to step and I can get to the other side. Now, I may not earn as much rewards or fees or price appreciation or whatever it is, right? It's very similar to the bridge concept. If people go first, more likely than not, they're going to get there first and they're going to get the treasure on the other side. But for me, I would rather see that the path is a little bit safer and secure. So for me, I just like to delay my investments a little bit and see it. So I'm not necessarily a venture capitalist or a first mover when it comes to deploying capital. I'll let other people do it, and then I'll come in behind when I feel more comfortable with it. So hopefully that makes sense. So giving into FOMO was definitely a mistake that I've made. And then if I were to give you a little bonus, man, the scammers in this space are crazy and they are relentless. They're getting really, really sophisticated. So please just slow down, double and triple check everything before you're moving. And then a good rule of thumb is if it sounds too good to be true, it most likely is. So just really slow down. Never give your seed phrase. Even if I message you, never give me your seed phrase. Never give me your private keys. Keep all those things safe and secure best you can. And just slow down, right? And actually another one that I'm seeing a lot is emails. People getting scam emails that are talking about, oh, you need to reset your wallet, et cetera, et cetera. Like all of those are just scams. So if you have any questions, maybe you're thinking, hey, maybe this might be a scam, you can always ask in the UIG or just right here on the YouTube channel. We'll do our very best to answer everywhere. But just slowing down is the best advice that I can give you. And again, if it feels too good to be true, it probably is. So hopefully we see you inside the UIG. If you're not a part of it, would love to have you in there. This is where we just sharpen our skill sets every single day, especially through the DeFi quests. We have a ton of content for you to work through about your security setup, your wallet systems, your visioning work, everything. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to be working together. So hopefully this brings you some value. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop them down below. If you join the UIG, make sure to send me a message. I would love to connect with you and learn more about what your goals are, what you're trying to achieve, and how I can best help you get there. So with that being said, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.